History books often claim Rome was invincible at its peak, but the sons of Sudan tell a very different story. While Augustus expanded the empire elsewhere, the Kingdom of Kush remained an unbreakable fortress that refused to bow. We are diving into the forgotten war where Kushite grit and tactical brilliance proved that even the masters of Rome had a breaking point. An African kingdom once forced the mighty Roman Empire to make peace. But almost nobody remembers how it happened. Deep in Africa, one kingdom refused to bow. And Rome would soon learn that conquering Kush would not be a walk in the park. Welcome to Echoes of Reborn Africa. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. In 30 BC, the Roman Empire swallowed the world. From Britain to the Middle East, the armies marched under Rome's unstoppable banner. But deep in Africa, one kingdom refused to bow. Emperor Augustus stood as a god on earth. By the 1st century BC, Rome had defeated powerful civilizations across 3 continents. Their legions were disciplined, heavily armed, and feared wherever they marched. Yet along the Nile, beyond the southern borders of Egypt, stood a kingdom determined to resist them. The Kingdom of Kush. For centuries, the Kushites had ruled a powerful civilization south of Egypt. Their cities flourished along the Nile, and their kings and queens commanded armies of skilled archers and warriors. Trade routes connected Kush to the Mediterranean world, and its rulers had once even conquered Egypt itself. But now a new empire had arrived in the region, the Roman Empire. But who was this mysterious force that dared defy the conquerors of the world? Roman writers whispered of Ethiopian barbarians. Yet something far more dangerous stirred in the desert capital of Meroe. A queen hidden behind veils of legend began to move. At the time, Kush was ruled by a powerful queen known as a Kandake, a warrior ruler who commanded both political and military power. Her name was Amenairinas. Kandake, queen regnant of Kush. Wife of King Taritikas, mother to Prince Akinidad. When Rome's tax collectors crossed into Lower Nubia, she did not kneel. She struck. According to ancient records, the Kushite queen was determined to defend her kingdom from Roman control. She knew the power of Rome. But she also knew her land, her warriors, and the strength of her people. After Rome conquered Egypt in 30 BC, its legions moved south, eager to secure the region and expand their influence. But tensions quickly grew between Roman forces and the Kushite kingdom. Border raids and clashes began along the Nile frontier. Then, in a bold move that shocked the Roman authorities, Kushite forces launched a surprise attack. Kushite warriors advanced northward into Roman-controlled territory, striking several Roman positions in Egypt. In 25 BC, 30,000 Kushite archers, masters of the 4-cubit bow, feared across Africa as the land of the bow surged north. Iron-tipped arrows darkened the sky. War elephants, trained in Meroe's sacred enclosures, thundered across the sand. They stormed Roman-held Folite Elephantine, Rensain, Aswan. Cities fell. Romans were enslaved. Statues of Augustus were hacked apart. One bronze statue head, larger than life, was ripped from its pedestal and carried south as a trophy. Kush was no primitive tribe. Its queens ruled as equals to kings. Its iron forges outproduced Rome's. And its women led armies. Statues of the Roman emperor were torn down, and Roman garrisons were forced to retreat. For the first time, the mighty Roman Empire faced serious resistance from the south. Rome could not ignore this challenge. Rome believed the rebellion crushed. Petronius, their greatest general, was already marching south with legions, straight into a trap the queen had prepared. The Roman governor of Egypt assembled a powerful army and marched south toward Kushite territory. Gaius Petronius arrived with 10,000 hardened legionaries. He expected easy glory. Instead, he found Kushite strongholds fortified with iron and resolve. He pushed deep into Nubia, sacking the ancient capital Napata. Thousands were enslaved. Temples burned. Prince Akinidad, beloved son and co-commander, fell in the brutal fighting at Dhaka. The queen lost her husband early in the war. Now she lost her heir. Roman records sneered, the one-eyed Kandake is broken. But they had miscalculated. Battles erupted along the Nile as the two civilizations collided. Roman forces captured several cities and pushed deep into Kushite lands. But conquering the kingdom would prove far more difficult than Rome expected. Rome told the world Africans were savages. Yet here the barbarian queen commanded strategy that humbled Caesar's best. The Kushites refused to surrender. Petronius thought victory was his. He withdrew north to a fortified hilltop at Primis, expecting peace. Instead, the desert came alive with 30,000 Kushites under a furious, one-eyed queen Amenerinas, now blind in one eye from battle wounds, stood taller. One-eyed Kandake, Petronius mocked. She wore the title like armor. Her archers rained death from the cliffs. Kushite elephants charged Roman lines. The siege dragged on. Rome's supply lines crumbled in the merciless desert. Supporting warriors, veteran generals who had fought beside her son, refused to yield. Kushite iron swords clashed with Roman steel. For 3 brutal years the war raged. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Kushite bows were so powerful they could pierce Roman shields at 200 meters. Rome had never faced anything like it in Africa. The Romans were now the ones under siege. Their archers, famous throughout the ancient world, harassed Roman forces and used the harsh desert terrain to their advantage. Exhausted and overstretched across their empire, the Romans sent desperate messengers to Emperor Augustus himself. The invincible legions were begging for terms. But would the queen accept, or demand total surrender? In 21 BC, Kushite emissaries reached Augustus on the island of Samos. The emperor, master of the known world, faced a choice. Continue a costly desert war, or concede. The Treaty of Samos turned history. Rome withdrew its border 100 miles north. All tribute demands were cancelled forever. Kush kept its independence and its pride. No other neighbor forced Augustus to retreat and pay nothing. Amenerinas had done what Hannibal and Cleopatra could not. Rome claimed it was mercy. Kush knew better. But the greatest symbol of their victory remained hidden beneath the sands, waiting to be discovered 1,930 years later. Back in Meroe, the bronze head of Augustus was not displayed in triumph. It was dragged to the Temple of Victory, then deliberately buried beneath the temple steps. Every Kushite priest and citizen who entered would walk over the face of the Roman god-king, trampling his pride into the dust for eternity. This was no mere trophy. It was the ultimate insult, and the final victory. Rome wrote history as conquerors. The head unearthed in 1910 by British archaeologists rewrote it. Kush had conquered the conqueror, but the deepest revelation was still to come. The one who orchestrated every victory, every twist of fate, was never just a queen. For the Roman Empire, this was an unusual outcome. Many regions conquered by Rome were absorbed into its growing empire. But Kush remained free. For generations afterward, the kingdom continued to flourish along the Nile, proving that even the mightiest empire could be challenged. Yet Rome would not be the last empire to underestimate African resistance. The desert kingdom endured for centuries more. Peaceful trade replaced war. Kushite pyramids still stand. And that buried head, now in the British Museum, whispers the final truth. The African kingdom Rome couldn't conquer, conquered Rome's pride instead. Centuries later, another powerful force would march into Africa. Confident that victory would be easy. They were about to face the warriors of the Zulu kingdom. Next episode. When the British Empire met the Zulu.